When I wake up in the afternoon, it pleases me to do. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. Cause I wakes up all negative and I wired on my fuse. And don't nobody bring me no bad news. Gonna be buddies, better bone up on the rules. Cause don't nobody bring me no bad news. You can be my best friend and co-paying dues. But don't nobody bring me no bad news. No bad news. No bad news. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. You can be my best friends and co-paying dues. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. When you're talking to me, don't be crying the blues. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. You can't verbalize and vocalize, but just bring me the clues. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. Bring a message in your hand or some you can lose. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. You're gonna bring me some child, bring something I can use. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. Hello, my fellow primates, my fine feathered monkeys. How are we? It's Dustin Plays back with you again with Press Monkey Media, and I wanted to start that report for a couple reasons. That was actually a song written by Diana Ross. It was made famous by Maybelle King in the movie The Wiz. I don't know if you all remember that or not. It was a big favorite of mine as a child growing up. I watched it so many times, and listened to the album so many times, I literally wore out the grooves in the record. It's just a fantastic movie. It always has been. The soundtrack in it is just incredible. So if you guys feel like it, ever get a chance, go check that out. My version was an Al Jolson version of it, which is, there is no such thing as an Al Jolson version of it. I made that up. Because I can't sing like Maybelle King in any way, shape, or form, nor can I sing like Diana Ross, so I just improvised and kind of did what I can do. So, there you go. Al Jolson version of Diana Ross's and Maybelle King's No Bad News. So, speaking of no bad news, we don't have a lot of it, or we have a lot of it. It kind of depends on your point of perspective, I suppose. Press Monkey Media is still, like I said, considering going radio. We're going to bring you a lot of great music, and that's part of the reason I'll be doing that once in a while, too. I'll be playing a live song or posting a song that I played myself, either of somebody else's or maybe even an original once in a while. We'll see how that all goes. So, but it's really great to be back and see you all. I tried to make a live video, but I was having a hard time with my internet connection, so I decided to roll with it. And just get in the back of my van and play on my video and edit it where I have to. So yeah, there we go. I'm going to take a moment here, and I'm going to press Monkey, my Press Monkey Media, fancy Press Monkey Media cup. If you see that. What it has in it, you're probably wondering, what's that guy drinking in that thing? Well, this is actually iced mint tea. Iced mint tea. I highly recommend it. Very refreshing for a very hot summer day. Wish we were having a nice one here in Newcastle, Colorado, 50 miles from the proverbial lap of luxury, the pearl necklace of the privileged, Aspen, Colorado. Again, we are here to motivate people to speak out against the oligarchy, and even go so far as to do so here in a privileged place like this. So, moving on to all the world topics and things like that. A lot of things to cover, from Democratic primaries and so on. I'm not going to get too far into all of that because I feel like that's being really well covered by everybody. Would like to point out to a little bit of an anniversary Press Monkey is having. We've reached a kind of milestone. We've been on the internet for over a year. I've published 2 articles, and I reposted recently on Facebook. to show everybody that we've been committed to sharing good news. I've got another primate report, which I'm going to be working on, hopefully be releasing this afternoon or tomorrow. We're going camping, actually, up at Rudai Reservoir, which is a little closer to Aspen, Colorado. I get to show you folks. I'll take some pictures and maybe get to show some of you folks what it is that we get to experience out here. And it's beautiful, I won't lie, it's beautiful, it's peaceful. It suffers a lot of the same economic stresses that much of the rest of the country has been experiencing, including the closing of many storefronts. The amount of open business storefronts in our malls, the two malls that we have in Glenwood Springs closest to us and in the valley, it's poignant. It shows a lot of things that are going on here in the economy that have been ringing true for the rest of the people across the country as well. So, take a little drink here. It's my mandolin, Nellie. I named it after my great-grandmother. I've been playing mandolin for a few years and love it, but I love activism and being a transparency activist as well. I like to hold on to this thing. It's kind of a comforting, kind of like Linus or something like that with his blanket. You know, it makes me feel nice and secure. So I'm gonna probably hold on to that for a couple minutes. Maybe I'll play another song. You guys. So I saw another report by CNN conflating something that Trump had said again about Russia. Russia, obviously, Putin and Trump have an upcoming meeting here really soon, which is being highly conflated, highly gabbled about, and to the usual prevailing McCarthyite message that we've been hearing for the past 2 years. That Donald Trump is ignoring the evidence, they say, of collusion. There has never been any. I'm going to touch upon this a million times, I guess. I feel like Jimmy Dore and Lee Camp and everybody else have had to weigh in on this RussiaGate thing so much. And it's been 2 years, guys. 2 years. You know, almost anyway. And they have not demonstrated one single aspect of the entire RussiaGate conflation. Not one part. Mueller has indicted a bunch of people who may be Russians and worked for the internet or a internet group that actually farmed information both out in and out. It looks like they were not a propaganda network as much as they were just a media pushing network. You know, it was an advertising network that. So all has been highly conflated. All of the indictments, none of the indictments so far have led to Donald Trump, had anything to do with Donald Trump, collusion, or any other of the things. You know, not to mention the fact that Mueller is one of the people back in the day who actually helped to conflate and lie us into the war on Iraq. You know, and we need to clarify that over and over and over again, that we were lied to back in the 90s after 9/11. Immediately after 9/11, we started bombing Afghanistan. We were lied to about that. We were lied to about the nature of whom we were dealing with. We were lied to about who it was they were going to actually go after. And we were lied to summarily about everything about Afghanistan. And then we all watched as the media, our government, many of the same players who are involved today in cooking up the whole thing, cooking up everything with Russia and Syria and Iran. We see a lot of the same behavior. You know, these people's policies have been seamless for 40 years, really, when it comes to war and stuff like that. But again, there's no evidence to demonstrate any part of the RussiaGate conflation to this day. I've done this. I did this 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I did a similar episode. I played Moscow Nights as a joke, hoping that this stuff would have all blown over, gone away, or they would have been humiliated. All of the networks who have been pushing the RussiaGate narrative, by the way, they don't need to apologize. They need to go away. Honestly, they need to be shown that you guys are discredited. You know, you've been pushing this false narrative that is literally propaganda forwarded by the deep state and our intelligence agencies and securities industries, and for your own nefarious reasons, and because they also pay your paychecks. You know, they also donate to and or subsidize you and or advertise with you in some form or another. So, you know, it's not so a big surprise that the mainstream media has become pretty much an arm, a voice, and a watchdog of the deep state. You know, and they'll scream everybody and any single person down who disagrees with them. Donald Trump is an idiot, and we all know that. Like I pointed out in my article many years ago, Trump is going to be right once in a while. Even a broken clock is going to be right twice a day. You got to get used to that sort of thing happening. Because once in a while he's going to say a true thing. Because it's part of all of their conflation to say true things, mixed in with all the lies, in order to confuse everybody. You know, what's he saying now? What's he telling the truth about? What's he not telling the truth about? Well, sometimes he's right about something. You know, and some things he's right about. Many things he's wrong about. Most things I don't think he knows what he's talking about, honestly. I honestly just don't think he knows. So, irrespective of yet more conflations and indictments by Mueller, and then there's the Inspector Office General report recently that was released that seems to almost thoroughly, completely debunk the entire RussiaGate thing and point to the fact that our Justice Department and our FBI and our CIA have all been in collusion with one another in a very partisan way, which is not okay in any way, shape, or form, in a very partisan way, and they've been doing this for a long time, but most recently this has been exposed, you know, literally exposed. You know, people want to gloss over, the whole RussiaGate thing is to gloss over the fact that Hillary Clinton, the Democratic National Committee, and mainstream media literally worked against Bernie Sanders in the progressive campaign that he was running and forwarding. Now, they brought him to heel. Another thing I think we need to dispel, and I'm not going to take a whole lot of time with this, is the Bernie Sanders, Bernie or bust, Bernie might run for a third party, Bernie, oh my god, Bernie might do it, Bernie, no, you guys, no. I was as big of a Bernie fan as anybody. I love the man. It made me cry to have to just give up with it on him. But the fact of the matter is he's been brought to heel, you guys. You know, I'm not going to say he's not going to be right once in a while about some very key issues, because he will be. You know, I think that he would be a key progressive ally in some very important things. But on other things, it's been clear that he's been pretty much brought to heel by the Democratic Party. You know, he failed to challenge them. He failed to challenge their fraud. Even after he failed to even acknowledge that they were being brought up in a class action lawsuit on his behalf. You know, any idea that he could form a credible third party and make a run, no matter who he ran with, is just silly at this point still. And I would call into question anybody who continues this narrative. Again, I liked Bernie a lot. After Bernie threw the primaries, I threw all of my support behind Jill Stein, as I told everybody I was going to from the very beginning, because she was the one, besides Bernie, who represented my values the most. Now, Bernie represented my values and the best shot to actually get a progressive in office, despite a couple of inconsistencies, I would call them, in some of his record. I was willing to overlook those. We can't overlook those anymore, and we can't continue to support someone who's basically been a sheepdog for the establishment, basically been a sheepdog for the Democratic Party. He's been unapologetic, and he's been strangely absent on the issue of war, when he was such a strong anti-war candidate. Yeah, no more to the RussiaGate than they're trying to just cover up it all. So I'm also going to move on to something I've been working on recently, or running into recently, which is the QAnon phenomenon, and pedogate or Pizzagate, and related stories in which you all might be familiar with. Now, I don't want to speak too much on this because I think that human trafficking and pedophilia are a serious issue. It is something we should heavily investigate. But all the loose ties and conflations and connotations, I've said it before in a couple posts, and I'm going to say it pretty frankly, and this is my real honest to God opinion about pedogate or Pizzagate, is that it's literally the RussiaGate of the right. There's nothing real to hunt down here, other than a bunch of coincidental things that can't. I mean, there are people who are high profile, who've been prosecuted and run through the ringer, and they're connected to a lot of high profile people. Often are connected to a lot of other high profile people. But they're trying to string together every single elitist that is basically on in the center or on the left as part of this conspiracy. And notice that none of these conspiracies rope in anybody from the right most of the time. So again, the whole thing is just monumentally absurd. Steer clear of QAnon. I mean, honestly, it's really no better than reading the Inquirer, in my opinion, watching InfoWars. It's really, really no better than having a membership to the John Birch Society or any other ridiculous thing like that. And I'm going to come back to the RussiaGate thing because obviously it's not going to go away anytime soon. So we're going to do that one again. We're going to play the RussiaGate song again, and we're going to have to go over yet the next piece of evidence that debunks everything that they've been trying to assert for, and I would like to reassert this, okay? Them actually indicting people for things that have nothing to do with actual collusion does not equal collusion. And it certainly doesn't equal all the things that they're trying to try to lead everybody to believe is actually happening. But Pizzagate is RussiaGate. Pedogate is RussiaGate, and QAnon is some anonymous person who puts out highly conflated, loosely strung together, and detail-free nonsense. I've looked over the site. I don't know if I agree with Caitlin Johnson or not on the fact that she says that it's a PSYOP operation. I can't say that by looking at it she's wrong. But I can't say by looking at it she's right. It seems like she's probably right, though. My examination of it, just from talking to the people, don't ever have anything except for refer you. They don't have any evidence. They don't have anything to string together. They don't have a way to actually talk about it other than to string together loose things in obscure email language and posts and things like that. And we're all supposed to suppose things and just believe things. It's nonsense. Steer clear of that stuff. Honestly, people, it's just no good for your brain. You might as well be listening to InfoWars or reading the Inquirer. It has just about as much value. And that's my frank opinion about the whole QAnon phenomenon, the Pedogate and the Pizzagate thing. They're another distraction. They're a distraction from the realities that we're facing with Donald Trump presidency. They're a distraction from the realities we've been facing for 20 years with the neoliberal policies coupled with conservative so-called centrist policies. So we're plagued with this stuff, and we have been for a while, and they want to put everything out on Trump. It's not going to work. You can't. He hasn't been president long enough. He hasn't been a politician long enough. It's just literally absurd. So, touched upon a few things. You can disagree with me on any of those things if you'd like to. This is going to be one of my final. I'm going to do maybe a couple more. It's going to be one of my final casts that I'm going to do via video like this. From now on, we're getting ready to ramp up and move my my format's a radio station. I'd like to not only play some songs like this for you, which I'll continue to do. I'll record some songs and talk to you about them on my show. I'm gonna try to get like a mixture of something going on, like something between what Richie Allen has going on, what Tim Black has going on with his call-in segments, sort of a mixture of that, and a little bit of like what Jimmy Dore has going on. And I'm gonna try to get a lot more solid in my actual reports. I'm gonna read some actual reports to you, and we'll sit and analyze those reports as we go on. And I'll read those on the air with my radio station. And I look forward to engaging with you all. It'll be a new thing for us. I really want to do it this way because I want to share some music with you and some music history and insight and stuff, much like the song that I started this cast with. I really want to. Oh, I also want to point out Just Inform is a great new site for transparency activists and activists who want to stay informed and inform. So please get on justinform.com. That's JUSTNFORM.com, and check it out. It's a pretty neat site, and we're on the ground level of it. There's a few hundred members still, but it's growing and it's getting to be quite a thing. You get to see a lot of Tim Black, a lot of Nico House, and Tim Black, who do their casts on Inform and actually are contributors to Inform. So I encourage you all to really get on Just Inform, as well as your Facebook account, and whatever other social media platforms you might be enjoying, and do that. Look forward to our next Prime 8 report. Again, we changed the format of that. If you look on PressMonkeyMedia.com, you'll see our old press report, our old Prime 8 report that we did, and we're changing the format of that. It's becoming like a news report that we do on a weekly basis. That's a roundup of all the other stories. I was going to do that on my cast, and I'll probably mention it on my cast when I'm actually doing my radio show. So I'll mention that stuff. I'll be talking about all the same stories: Lee Camp, Jimmy Dore, Humanist Report, the Black Agenda Report, all of those that you really enjoy. So we'll get back in the swing of things, so to speak. Find primates, and hopefully we'll be able to traverse this hard times with things washing up on our shores that are difficult to deal with, and keep on swinging, my friends. Peace, activism, bananas.